From the spotlight to the world behind the show, these are the stories of those who make it happen. Welcome to Backstage and Beyond.
Hi, Pyro. If you know me a long time, if you know me recently, is Pyro Steve. Been touring full-time since I was 22. Got into it, moving gear with friends because they had a band when I was in Sheboygan, Wisconsin. Which we have God's chosen people, absolutely.
What's your secret of longevity in this?
Man, just loving what you do. You know, it's everybody always laughs, but it's like it's the greatest drug there is on the planet Earth. There's nothing that tops it. You know, from the minute you get ready for the go, and for me, it's a half hour before the show and getting my ear packs and going through final checks and checking with everybody and blah, blah, blah. And then you get the last.
So just explain, like, on a typical day what you do if somebody doesn't know.
You wake up early in the morning when you don't want to, and you go to catering and you hope something is good. And then you wait for your truck to dump, and then they build the lighting rig or the mother grid or whatever goes up first. And if you have a rolling stage, it lives on the other side of the arena, and you start setting stuff up on there, and then the light rig goes up in the air, and then you push the stage into place with an army of people.
But for you, for your position, what do you do?
I irritate people. No, my job is to just try and figure out everything that's possibly going to go wrong, and then try not to have it go wrong. You know, which was told me by somebody a long time ago. Hammer told me that. Always look up. And Kurt and Bob always said, you know, just always look around you, make sure you know what's going on. And then you got...
So if you had to explain your position to a 10-year-old and just make it simple, what do you say? I blow things up. What do you do?
I go with my mom's answer, glorified firebug. And that's really it. It's the honest to God truth. It's Guitar Hero with sparkly stuff and flamey shit, you know? So just to throw it out there for everybody who ever wants this job, first off, it's the greatest job that you're going to bitch about all the time. That's just how it is. It's the essence of the business. But the question you asked me earlier is how'd you get into this, is I was 14 years old. I went to go see Styx with my friend Steve Aldridge and his sister and his mom in 1981 on the Paradise Theater tour, and went, I want to do that. Really, there's very few bands on the planet that are better than they are live. I mean, they're just, everything about that band is amazing. There's no Pro Tools, there's no click tracks, there's stems and tracks and all the other fun stuff. It's just the band. And Tommy Shaw is just absolutely nothing but
nice
amazing.
Guy too. Nice guy.
And then Todd Zuckerman, the drummer that plays for Styx now, we used to go watch Todd out at Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. When he used to play out there when we were like 16 years old. We're getting into the bar, hypothetically, you know, not of age. But it's great to see Todd doing that now too, because he is one of the greatest drummers ever, without question. The band's amazing. So then I, you know, said I wanted to do this, and everybody said you can't. It's definitely something you want to have to do. It's definitely a lifestyle that you want, you know. I was warned by a couple of people who had been doing it, going, hey, this is what you're going to be looking forward to. And I was like, okay. And once again, for all the downside stuff that there is, the live show, the hour and a half or 2 hours that is the live show, you know, everybody goes, oh, it's magical. It is. It really is. For an hour and a half, 2 hours, you take everybody who's having problems in their head with other people, financially, emotionally, whatever. And for that hour and a half, 2 hours, it's completely gone, and they're in a completely different world. And I think that's pretty cool.
That is really cool.
Because I know when I used to go to shows, I was like, man, the build up to getting to go to a show. It's like, Ozzy's coming, Maiden's coming, Priest is coming, you know? And sleeping in your car overnight when it's freezing out to get firm tickets so you can actually go see Jimmy Page, all hail, you know? And it's just, I was lucky, man. I grew up in a time where music meant the world to me. And my mom was huge into music, and my dad listened to country. My mom listened to classical and show tunes. My sister listened to all that MTV stuff that I couldn't stand. And I was like the 70s FM radio kid and metalhead. Like Kiss Destroyer came out and the entire world changed. 1976, at 9 years old, the whole world had a whole new look at it, you know, and I still love that band. I still want to be Ace Frehley.
What would you say is the most misunderstood thing about what you do? Like when people see it, they just see the finished product. But there's a lot that goes into it.
There's a lot more that goes into it. Like everything now is called RTG. It's ready to go. And you order it and you go, hey, I need this airburst or this flame projector or a flash pot like this. And back in the day, we used to make all the stuff. So you'd be sitting in a room mixing powders and, you know, it's like, hey, the ceiling's a little higher today, you know, or, you know, hey, the ceiling's a little lower today. So you got to do and change it out from that. But it definitely gave you, I would say it definitely gave you more room to experiment with what you were doing. I mean, you knew what like a 2-cap load was going to do, you know. So tonight I got extra room so I can do 2.5 cap load on an airburst. So, but I got all my stuff from a company called Lunatech. I had memorized my mom's credit card number and ordered $3,000 worth of gear, and the UPS truck showed up and started unloading stuff. And my mom then got the bill and freaked out, and I handed her the money, and I sat in the backyard blowing things up. And sometimes the police would show up and sometimes they wouldn't. And, you know, that was all the practice to get into that. And my parents were just like, oh my God, what is wrong with our kid? And then it turned out to be a job. So they were pretty happy about it because I wasn't really qualified for anything else. There's a lot of factories where I grew up. So it was just being in a factory or doing what I saw at 14 years old with sticks. And I was like, that was easy. I'm going to go do that. So, and then I got to tour with a club act for a long time called Brass Kitten out of Minneapolis, Minnesota. And those guys gave me my first run at full-time touring, you know. And that was 4+ years. And a band, Mad At You, which is a couple guys from Hairball now. You can see them all over.
Well, so do you prefer touring to being local?
Oh, God, yeah. Absolutely, man. Just keep me on a bus, you know. It's just, it's, like I said, you show up at work every day, which is nice. You know, you got a ride, which is good. You know, it's.
Well, do you know anybody who's, say, midlife that's getting into the business, or are they pretty much working their way up the ranks?
No, I think you have the opportunity to go into it at any point. It's just that you have to decide, is this for me? Because, you know, I mean, it's, hey, what are you going to do? Well, I'm going to get up at 7 o'clock so I can be in there at 7:30. So when the trucks dump at 8, I can get my stuff. Because Anthony Giordano, as you know, Anthony was kind enough to explain things to you so you would know where, you know, what you had to do. Anthony was integral in everything with a lot of people learning. And I thank him for a ton of stuff. Him and Tim Miller, both on NSYNC. I can't thank them enough for, and the band, everybody was great, you know, and kind of turned my life around. Tim and Anthony both did. And I will always be grateful to them and always thank them for that.
That's awesome. What would you say to anyone that might be wanting to get into this, get into the industry?
If you're getting into it because you love the music and you want to do the job, not because you want prestige or people to be impressed by your job or the money or whatever, do it. Just do it. Take a shot, you know, always take a shot. You can't hit a fucking home run if you don't get into the box. You just can't. So, you know, you have two choices. You're going to get thrown in the pool and you're going to sink or swim. And as we were talking a moment ago, the amount of people that you get to meet touring and the amount of just unbelievable pure talent and skill that these people have, and sometimes you're lucky enough to learn from them, and sometimes, you know, they're not people that you end up getting along with at all. But, you know, at showtime, it's everybody go. That's and we're going to rip this, you know. And once again, greatest drug on the planet Earth. There is nothing better. And there are people that I still, like you and I, we met in 96, on Reba. So, I mean, it's a couple years since then. So, which is,
And you run into people on
Yeah.
different tours that you knew from. It was crazy.
I ran into somebody in France a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, that I hadn't seen since 2007, 2008. I was like, how crazy is this? And here we are sitting on a loading dock shooting the crap, about, hey, what's been going on? And now they got kids and been married and blah, blah, blah. And just like, it's like you saw them 3 days ago and you
Right.
saw them 15 years ago. Because when you were out with them, you were tight and you were hanging, and they were your peeps, So there's a lot of people that you will meet that will come in and out of your life, and then there are certain people that will stay in your life from the time that you met them, and it's an amazing way to meet people, and it's like I said, it's the greatest job you're going to bitch about all the time. That's really it. If you get the shot to get this job, take it, because you can be a mutant and you can finally find a place to fit in, which is really nice, because before that, everywhere I worked, I didn't fit in anywhere, and finally the square peg went into the round hole, which is really nice. And once again, everybody laughs, but thank you, God, for giving the foul mouth kid the gig that he wanted. That's really it, man. So if you can get it, take it.
Awesome. Thank you, Pyro.
Anytime.